Hey, what's up, everybody? We're a little bit early, so we just wanted to. We haven't done this in a while, so we got to go back through and work out all the bugs.
Yeah. I probably should have put some makeup on.
You could do it while we're live
Can I?
if you want. We're live right now.
Oh, so I don't have time to run downstairs, is what you're saying.
Well, I guess you could if you want to. You got a couple of minutes. You're fine.
Hmm.
Looks like we got a couple of people in here. Going to get started here in a few minutes. We just wanted to get dialed in early because we haven't done this in a while, and I didn't really quite remember how to do it, so I had to go through and relearn everything. But
I know I forget how to do it every single time.
we're good. Hopefully you guys can see us and hear us. Might want to pull that microphone over a little closer.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm guessing that they can hear us. Looks like we got mic volume down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it moves when I talk.
Yeah, so we should be good. You guys hear us okay out there? If anybody's dialed in, just give us a thumbs up in the chat or whatever. Let us know if you guys got any questions or what's going on.
Oh, I gotta make sure I turned my phone off, otherwise it'll ping, 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 ping. It's Saturday night, right? 5 o'clock.
Saturday afternoon, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. We just had some food. We're good to go. Otis should be up here at some point complaining.
Yeah, I've been here bugging us with his excessive panting.
Yeah.
Because he wants to go be on the bed and go to sleep.
Yeah. And it was garage sale day. So today was a good day. It's almost 5. We got a minute. Everything's working, right? The comment, you can do all the stuff on there?
Yeah. Says there's 5 people out there.
Okay.
7 now. 2 thumbs up.
Oh, good. Okay. So that way you know it's working.
Well, I mean, I guess we're good.
Yeah. If they can hear us, then that's okay. So happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am absolutely excited about garage sale season. You have no idea. Carl and I actually started on Friday. So we hit a bunch of sales on Friday, and then we turned around and did it all over again today. It was definitely a good weekend for sales. And there was a lot of sales that we didn't even get to. We just didn't have the time to get to all of them. It was a lot. So we definitely are going to have to use our time wisely. I had all these ideas of all these sales I wanted to go to, and we just couldn't do it. There was just no way.
Karen says you look great. How have you lost weight? And I said, you basically gave up sugar.
I did. I gave up sugar. I mean, I gave up sugar. I gave up fast food. I also gave, what else did I give up?
Fun.
Yeah, I don't drink Starbucks as much as I used to. Yeah, no, there's no, I didn't do any kind of that Ozempic, no pills, no nothing, no shots, none of it. I just,
All natural.
Yeah, I had to change. I was having some health issues, and I had to change the way I was doing things. And it took me, over a year. And I was not, you can ask Carl, I was by no means trying to diet or lose weight. It just became part of my life.
It was more of a personal health choice for her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Carl,
say hi to Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. Carl's tried to, at different times we've tried to watch what we eat, but for me, I think the sugar was the big thing. There's no sugar. I mean, I very seldom have anything with sugar, anything. So, yeah, that was a big, huge change. Drinking a lot more water, no alcohol, just a lot of things that, I enjoyed so much and just, kind of just gave them up. So, yeah, I mean, I can tell you, I put on a pair of shorts yesterday for like the first time, and I don't know how long. And my legs are so white. I was like, Carl, and he's like laughing. He goes, well, you got to get him tan somehow. So yeah, definitely, it's warm. It was warm yesterday. It was warm today.
Yep. We're
The
getting into the summer seasons here
Yeah,
in Virginia.
the humidity's coming. There's
Yeah.
no way around it.
No humidity yet, but it
Mhm.
was pretty warm today. I think it was like 82 or so. Um,
Mhm.
it's hot right in the direct sunlight, but and we've been moving our stuff over and working out of our storage unit for like doing the shipping and everything. So it's just going to get hotter over there. So we got to try to be careful and excuse me, do stuff at the in the
Mhm.
morning time when it's a lot
Yeah.
cooler over there.
And some of the recaps, since we've been hitting so many garage sales and yard sales, some of the recaps we've been doing outside, just because there's so much inventory, it's very difficult to bring it all in the house and spread it all out. And so we've kind of been doing some of the recaps, in the back of the truck, just so it's like we have that room and that area to, kind of put things out there, just so you guys can see, like what we got and this and that. So far we're off and running. It's
Yeah, I took Friday off work and went with her,
mhm,
and we hit up some yard sales and some like neighborhood sales that were going
yeah.
on Friday, and we did pretty good. I mean, I bought a car stereo from this guy. It was new in the box, but it was old. So he bought it for his car.
Mhm.
He never put it in the car that he was going to put it into because after he bought it, the car got damaged and it was too much for him to basically do the repairs for it. So a guy offered him some money for it, and so he just took it. Well, he kind of forgot all about having that car stereo, and I bought it. I bought it off of him for like $20 and brought it home. Sharon listed it, and it sold within an hour for like $425.
Yeah.
So it was a good day. I got a couple other pieces, a couple other items. They're like pulse checkers for your finger. You put, you put your finger in it and it, checks your pulse or whatever.
Mhm.
And this lady had them at her yard sale, and I asked her about them. She said they were brand new in the box. There was two of them, and she said she got them from she got she bought them surplus or something like that. Well, she had them for $5 a piece. Well, I looked them up, and they have a fantastic sell-through rate, and they sell for like between $300 and $400 each. So I went back and looked again to make sure that I was actually looking at it the right, make sure I had the right thing.
Mm.
Sure enough, I did, and she just wanted $5 a piece for them. She was just getting rid of junk out of her house, and the funny part about it is I'm sitting there buying stuff from her, and she's on Amazon shopping. So I think might have a little bit of a shopping problem, but
And today I think I scored, but I'm going to get it authenticated, but I think I came home with a Gucci purse today. So that was kind of a nice find. And I did come home with and from the same place, I came home with a vintage Coach, and they charged me $2 for the vintage Coach purse and $5 for the Gucci purse. So I spent $131 at that sale, and I had to call Carl from the car because the driveway was pretty far up. I said, "Hey, you got to come up here." So I'll find out tomorrow. I'll send the Gucci into the authentication website, and find out if I got lucky. So I think I did.
Karen says her hubby wants her to ask how you know what to choose when purchasing electronics. Man, that's a loaded question.
Carl, wait a minute. Carl used a little background. Carl used to do electronics in the Navy.
Yeah, but that doesn't, it's
Carl,
not the same.
yes, but he understands what he's looking at. He knows if it's been damaged. He knows if it's been wired. He knows if it's missing something. That's a whole different skill set that a lot of people do not have that he has. And I don't touch the stuff.
I'm going to tell you what I use for my rule of thumb for buying electronics. If you can get it reasonably cheap. So for instance, a lot of people buy those like DVD VCR combo players, and those are good. You can find some that will make you a lot of money really fast, but you also have to be able to take it if you ship it and it ends up something making it where it doesn't work for that person. So if you can get it for a low enough price where it makes it worth your while to give it a quick test and ship it out, but knowing that it possibly has a good chance that it might get returned because it's used, or they might say it doesn't work or whatever. So you have to be able to absorb that cost of a loss. And it doesn't happen all the time, but I mean, and when you buy stuff new electronics wise, if you can always find things that have never been used and they're brand new in the box, that's obviously a good one. But that doesn't mean that they still won't have problems. Sometimes sitting around, things can still have problems. For instance, another thing that you always want to check is if they take batteries, you always want to check the battery compartments to make sure that they're not corroded. You want to make sure there's no corrosion in there, or they left the batteries in them. If you buy VCRs or whatever, and they come with a remote, you want to try to get it with the remote, because that makes it more valuable. But you also want to make sure that the remote doesn't have corroded batteries in it, because then it doesn't do you any good. So again, for buying electronics, if you can buy it for a low enough price, whereas that you can absorb that loss if something happens, or it's something they get it on the other end, and maybe there was something that you just couldn't test out, then that's how I buy electronics. Pam says, are you downsizing? Yes, we are downsizing, but not like immediately. So we're slowly working our way,
cleaning out.
Yeah, we're cleaning out a lot of junk, things like that. I'll be 58 this year, so I still have quite a few years before I can actually quote unquote retire. But if we get to a position where we can retire a little earlier, we will. But I don't want to wait till the last minute and make it so that we have to, jump through our butts to get rid of all of this stuff that we have, because one of us could care less about the junk that we have, and the other one has very, very, very serious problems letting it go.
Carl, there is not a single person here that is going to support you on this. I do. I have lots of stuff, and I've had a lot of stuff for a lot of years, and I have a lot of things that are very important to me. And we have already come to the agreement that I'm not getting rid of all of my collectibles and all of my, you guys know I collect ceramic Christmas trees. I'm not getting rid of all of them. I've been collecting them for 10 years now. So I will get rid of a lot, and, but he's not making me, do not think he's making me get rid of everything. He is not by any means doing that. Do we need all this furniture? Do we need all of this stuff that we have in this house? No. This is for two people. This is a big house. And we filled it up. We did what everybody else does. Everything. Okay.
Thank you.
Everything in the house is mine.
Everything. I have one chair, and that's it. I have a chair and a little bit of my Navy stuff from my retirement. Everything else in this house belongs to her. So there you go.
We've been married a long time, and that's just how it is. That's how it is.
Thousands of years.
That's how it is.
So anyway.
So yeah.
Yeah, we are trying to downsize.
Yes,
I am
we
tired of taking care of this place. I don't want to take care of it. So
You know what? He's had to mow the lawn a couple of times since the season, since it started growing like gangbusters out there, and he already hates it.
I hate yard work.
And
Absolutely despise it.
and he has a
But it needs
ride-on
to be done.
lawnmower, and he hates yard. He doesn't even. I mean, he doesn't even like riding his lawnmower. He doesn't
Well,
like
can't
it.
do everything with a ride-on
No,
lawnmower.
and his allergies
So-
are bad, so he's been cranky about having to take care of the outside.
I don't like it. I do not like yard work. I like looking at other people's yards that are nice, but I don't like yard work. I hate it. I absolutely despise it. So, and she wants to move into another house, smaller, but
Yeah.
she still wants a yard. And I'm like, well, that's because you don't take care of it. I know, condo time. That's what I said. And what's her answer? I don't like people. So she don't want to live.
I don't
she
like.
don't want to live
I
by
don't
nobody.
want.
So
What if you? What
I
if?
can't win.
What if you end up purchasing a place and your neighbors and you're in a condo and they're horrible? I'm not saying, that would happen, but could you imagine if you moved next door and then there's nowhere to go? You're stuck at that point. I can't do that.
It's no different than moving into a neighborhood.
It is, but
what if your
I
neighbor
can
has block trees.
I can tell you that
You can't.
that our
you can't do anything
neighbors
about that.
our neighbors are great here, and so I have no complaints whatsoever. But yeah, I like the quiet.
So Pam says, so moving to a smaller house.
Yeah.
Well, ultimately, what we would like to do is get like a RV travel trailer or something, and just go and stay in that for a while until we can find our ultimate area where we want to stay.
Mhm.
But again, I don't want a yard. I don't want yard work at all. So if I can avoid it, I'm going to avoid it. Karen says a balcony with planters. No, Sharon has a brown thumb, and I could care less about plants. So,
I'm not girly. I seriously, one of the things I do like about a lawn is I used to really love to mow the lawn because I used to like the straight lines. I can tell you the symmetry of having the lawn mowed was something I really enjoyed. But when we moved here, Carl said he was going to take care of the outside and I would take care of the inside. So that's just kind of the way it's been. And I really haven't learned how to use the ride-on lawnmower. So I haven't gone out there and done it myself, but I have mowed the lawn. I used to be the one that took care of it. So, it's just, it is what it is. He could hire a gardener if he really wanted to, but he doesn't want to do that either.
So one thing I hate more than yard work is paying somebody to do my yard work. So that's how I am. I know. I'm a pain in the butt.
He's going to complain one way or the other. So
she knows what she got.
I got nothing. I don't, it doesn't,
Jerry says, stop it. You're moving here. You guys can take 5 acres across the field from me and we'll still have privacy. As much as you told us about how muddy your yard is, I don't know.
I might be okay with it. Like I said, Carl's got a nice ride-on lawnmower. Just to let you know, he does have a cute little hat that he wears when he's out mowing the lawn.
I have to. I can't sunburn my head.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. We haven't decided what state we want to go to for sure. We have to go visit a few places. We might stay in Virginia. There's a lot of things we've even talked about recently about just keeping the house, or, we still are trying to make up our minds of what we want to do. I know that the two of us in a few years, we're not going to be able to maintain this house. This house is just too much. Unless we have someone doing absolutely everything for us. I mean, we're upstairs right now. We hardly ever come upstairs. I mean, unless I'm in my office doing work, I mean, we don't need all of this space. We just don't.
The problem with all this space is that somebody fills it up with crap. And I'm tired of looking at it. I'm tired of tripping over it. I'm just tired of it. I don't want to deal with it. I want to live in a little bitty small box area, and I don't want to have a yard. And I would much rather spend my time traveling and looking at stuff and visiting places than working in the yard. I just don't like it. Gregory says, hi guys, you are awesome. The lady gives 5 punches like boxing. I don't know what that means, but okay. And he says he subscribed. Well, thanks a lot, Greg. We appreciate that. Pam says, glad yard sales have started.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that does. We love yard selling.
Yeah.
The problem is that we've noticed now is we're starting to see more and more resellers out there.
Yeah.
So we saw a guy yesterday, he totally rolled up to the yard sale that we were at, and he's got his GoPro camera on. But I mean, he was a typical guy reseller, like straight to the, movies and video games and stuff. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's good, I guess, but you can't pigeonhole yourself into one thing. So fortunately with Sharon and I, she has her, her niche of things that she goes after, and I can go after anything that catches my eye, but she's the one that is way better at it.
I've been doing this a while. So I mean, we're going on 2 years with the YouTube channel now. 2 years.
August will be 2 years. Yeah.
It's surreal. It's very odd. I can tell you for the first time, and if she's watching, hi Pam. For the first time, I was in a store, and I was in a Staples, and a lady walked up to me and quietly called my name, and she watches.
Was it Pam?
It was probably Pam. Yes.
Yeah, because she said her name was Pam.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is that you, Pam? Are you in Virginia?
So if she was, hi to Pam, but I don't have that happen very often, and it's new for me, and now we've been doing this for a couple of years, and sponsors are starting to reach out, and so far a lot of the people that are reaching out, I'm just not interested. I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers that takes on ridiculous sponsors that are not me.
What's that cheap crap? Temu,
yeah.
Temu reached out to Sharon. I'm like, no. Yeah, that Sharon deals with like quality, high-end stuff, and Temu is not that at all. Pam says no, she's in Tennessee.
Okay.
Karen says, are you friendly with other resellers of video? Yeah, we're friendly with everybody. We don't care.
Yeah, some of them,
unless if they start something with us, but I mean,
no, yeah.
People don't.
There's a couple, that I've spoken to, like, I can tell you, Dustin has always been just really nice to me. He's commented and reached out. I
think she means people that we run into.
Oh, you know what? There are people that resellers that are not there's a few that are not.
There's a couple ladies that come to the yard sales we've seen before. There's one lady, she's really pushy, very in your face kind of thing.
She won't wait in line.
No, she cuts right to the front of the line.
She almost dares you, but we
just like shrug it off. We're like, whatever.
My nature, I'm not, Carl and I, this is the reality of reselling. You can be the first person at a garage sale, or you could be the last person at a garage sale. If you know what you're doing, you may have found the better piece. Like, yesterday when Carl found that car radio, we by no means were the first person at that yard sale. Lots of people had been through there.
Yeah, there were some older people that were right in front of us, and they were clearly resellers because they were just picking up all kinds of resellable type of things. Mm-hmm. They maybe not have been online, but they definitely probably had like an antique booth or something like that. But they walked right up to that car radio, and I was like, oh man, we're gonna get that thing. They looked right past it, and they started looking at those little like plates that are what are they called? Collector plates, like with pictures on them and stuff like that. And I was like, no.
Yeah. So the timing, the timing is not, whether you're first person there, 10th person there, 11th person there, if you know a little bit about some things or a little bit about something else, that's what really counts. Is
you guys haven't seen this video yet because we haven't put it out. A couple of weeks ago, we were at a yard sale, and we were there. It was later. Yard selling has probably been going on for a good 2 or 3 hours. And we rolled up to this yard sale, and I looked down in this box, and there was a set of aviation headphones, and they were just sitting in a box. Not like a new box, anything like that. They were just in a box, an open cardboard box. And then there was another really nice high-end box for a certain type of a watch. The watch wasn't in there though.
And
It was
Carl,
just an empty box, and I don't know what it is. I like
Carl,
boxes and
Carl
containers.
looks at me and he goes, "What do you think of this box?" And I looked at the title. I go, "Oh yeah, take the box." It was a Breitling box.
So
I said, "Oh
but
yeah,
there
Carl,
was nothing in it. It was
take
just
the
an empty
box."
box. And then Sharon
Yeah.
found this like Louis Vuitton little like keychain thing. But the guy came over and he was a military guy. Him and his wife are both in the Air Force. And he said, "Hey, he let us know that Louis Vuitton thing was fake.
It looked good.
It was a good fake, but it was still fake because he got it overseas. But anyways, he sold us that headset, the aviation headset, and the
empty
watch
box, yeah,
for $10 for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the box by itself, empty, sold the next day for $37.
Mm-hmm.
And then the headset sold like a day or two after that for another $70.
If I would have had the little leather cover piece that went inside that box, so in the Breitling box, it has this little leather cover piece that goes over the top of the watch. If I would have had that little leather piece and the box, that box alone would have gone for $70 to $80, and that's for an empty box.
Yep.
So we have learned over the years. There's a few things we bought that you don't have to necessarily have the item. The boxes has value.
You can't be everywhere at every yard sale.
Yeah.
So, and there's going to be people there. We already know there's other resellers out there. We see them all the time.
Yeah.
And we nod to them and they say hey to us. It's friendly. I mean, there's nothing like, we know that they're our competition, but we also I know that they don't know what she knows. So, we had people tell us, oh, the first day of estate sales, you should never go there on the first day of estate sales. Well, that's inaccurate because sometimes at estate sales, they'll put value on things that don't have a whole lot of value. And then they won't value things that do have a lot of value. For instance, maybe the last video or the video before, we went to an estate sale. They actually let us come in early. It was a day early. And everything there was so skyrocket high priced. And then Sharon rolls up in this closet and finds all these vintage dresses. And the lady goes,
"That was all the Laura Ashley and the Jessica.
How about $5 a piece?" So she bought them, and they were selling for like $250 a piece. And then she got this. Was it Gucci or Louis Vuitton?
A Gucci portfolio.
It was a Gucci portfolio, and it was a legit Gucci. She had it.
I had it authenticated.
$2. She paid for it because the lady thought it wasn't real.
They didn't put the emphasis on the clothes and the shoes and that. They put it on all of the hard goods and
tools in the garage.
Exactly.
It was ridiculous.
So when you go to an estate sale, look at where they're putting all of the high values and find the area that they're not. One area that is always a good area to look at when you go to estate sales, because they usually never do this, but printer ink. I usually, when I go to estate sales, will look for printer ink, those type of things, because they're not looking at those things like they have value. Sometimes the things that they're giving value to are not necessarily the things that sell value. So like these packages, like what he's going to show you now. I can usually get a whole bag full of that.
This is for our printer right here. We buy these. So this is the 951.
Yeah.
But one of the things you have to notice about printer ink when you buy it, on the back of it, there's a date. And this says August of 2025. That's when this expires. Now, does that mean it goes bad?
No.
Not necessarily. It just means that it could potentially not work the way it's supposed to.
I've sold expired printer ink quite a few times on eBay. Usually it could be just within a few months of being expired, and I have never ever had a problem with that.
No.
And usually my price is so much better than what they would have to go and buy it for new, because everybody knows printer ink is just insane,
ridiculously expensive.
So yeah, printer ink is definitely an area that I look for.
Digital cameras, old school digital cameras. They're like nobody, you wouldn't even think twice about buying a digital camera. We get them for $2 or $3, and they consistently sell for $70, $80, $90, over $100. So, you can get them. Again, you got to be careful though. Watch and make sure. Some of them have battery compartments that are just like AA batteries, and you got to
Yeah.
make sure they're not corroded. And then if they have a little SIM card in them or a little, disc inside of it, we typically try to offer that back to the people if we buy it.
Yeah, I try to
Sometimes we
give it
don't.
back.
Sometimes we don't think about it right then on the spot. But you also have to look at if those things if they have the charger with them, and if they don't, you can go on Amazon and you can buy a charger for the batteries. And so even though you're only paying like $2 or $3 for this thing, you might end up paying it might work out to be more like $12 or $15 because you have to buy a battery for it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have that battery, it'll increase the price for what you can sell it for.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you don't know if it works or not, and you can only sell it as parts. So
And
those types of things.
And a lot of times too, sometimes when I'm buying like hard goods or collectibles and things like that, if they don't use an image search or a Google search and they can't read the names on the bottom, a lot of times I've found really nice pieces because the person just couldn't read what was on the bottom of the piece. And you guys know that, I can't, my eyes aren't going to be good enough, but I do know to Google image search. I know to make it bigger on the camera. And then, I have a magnifier on my phone too, that, to kind of take a look at those things because, you never know. I mean, and especially in this area, I, just last weekend, Carl and I went and I picked up a bunch of, little breakables, and I actually picked up a Bakarat, heart. It's like a paperweight, and I knew it was Baccarat because the sticker was partially still on the front, but Baccarat also stamps the back with Baccarat made in France. And so it was easily there. And she had a bunch of those type of little pieces. And I bought a bunch of vintage Costa Boda. I bought the Baccarat, a bunch of other stuff. And the Baccarat sold within a day or so, and I paid $2 and it sold for $69.
Pam wants to know, how on eBay do you find how much things are selling for?
I always go to the sold comps, and then honestly, I try to undercut everybody by like $1 or $2.
So I don't know if I can show you on my phone. It's kind of hard to see.
That's kind of what I do is I go see what it's sold for, knowing what I paid for it. Also, that counts, knowing what I paid for it. And then, I do try to go, $1 to under what other people are doing.
So I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'll put it in front of it's kind of whited out. Anyways, if you're looking on the screen, if I can get it right.
Back up a little bit. Back up a
little bit and tilt it this way. There we go. So it shows Nike shoes. And it's not going to be showing up there very good. Yeah. Anyways, what you do is on eBay, there's a thing up at the top of the
it's a filter
section. It's called a filter. So if you hit that filter and you'll scroll down, and then you'll see a little button that you can slide over that says sold
and completed.
So usually they're tied together. So it means that sale has been completed and it's been sold. So you can see how much things have sold for. People can ask whatever they want on eBay, and they do. They ask ridiculous prices.
I am not attached to my items. That's one thing you have to understand about reselling also. If you want to do this, is you cannot be attached to your items. You cannot think of these items as a personal feeling to you, because if you do that, you're going to mark them up to the point where they're not going to sell, and then you're just sitting there. So,
and you also can't it's hard not to get irritated when you get returns.
I get returns. I get
this, but it's just part of doing business.
This week I got at least probably 4 returns this week, and usually it doesn't fit. That's a pretty common one.
Yeah, we don't get too many of the there was something wrong with it.
Not too often.
Not very often. We do a couple things slip by. You have to be really diligent.
I might miss something,
but be diligent. And if we do it, it's fine, no big deal. We'll give them their money back. But a lot of people will buy things, and this really surprised me, was people will buy things on eBay, like used shoes or clothes, and they'll get them and they'll try them on, and they don't fit, and then they put down, well, it doesn't fit. Well, then they have to pay to send it back.
Yeah.
So they essentially pay, $6 or $7, sometimes more depending on where they're at, just to try on a pair of shoes or or a jacket or something like that, so.
Shoes are the only thing. Shoes are really the thing that I understand. Like, I understand if you get it and it just doesn't fit your foot or doesn't stay on your foot, or, with shoes, I totally understand that. The clothes, it's hard for me though, because I literally put measurements in my clothes. So if I put measurements in my clothes, I don't do that. I do that so people can see. I know when I myself go on eBay and I buy clothes, I'm aware of what I'm buying, and I can look at their measurements or their dimensions, and I know it's going to fit. It's just because I know what I wear, but that's probably more so because I spend so much time with reselling that, I have that advantage of, just knowing what will fit or work for me.
So what other questions you guys have for us? We've been learning a lot over the last couple of years. One of the things, like when you're out shopping for stuff, don't get super excited about something and just buy it. Make sure you check it out really good. For like shoes, give them flex them and make sure that there's not a bunch of dry rot in the sole of the shoe or cracks or anything like that. Check and make sure all the buckles and fasteners and buttons and everything are on there. Look at the seams. Make sure seams on clothing is not ripped or torn or
I still
stained.
miss things. I still miss things.
It's sometimes it's easy, especially when you find something that's like has a high value and a good sell-through rate, and you're like, oh dang, I'm gonna buy this because it's like $3. Well, then you get home and it's like, oh well, now I can't list it because it's got a big hole in the back of it that I didn't notice because I got so excited I didn't bother to check it out. So
it happens to me, and it happens to me all the time. I mean, honestly, no matter how long I spend looking at, there are certain styles and certain things that I don't even want to buy because I know I'm going to miss something.
Karen says, what shoe brands are the best sellers? It just depends on who's buying. It depends on who it is. Women, men are different. Nike is always a good seller.
If you like, usually for me, if I put a pair of Tory Burch shoes in my store, they usually sell.
Yeah.
So Tory Burch, and every person might be different, but Tory Burch sells very well for me. Vionic sells. Birkenstocks sell very good. Vionic sells very good for me. Dansco.
Cole Haan, yeah, that's a
Cole
good
Haan,
one.
yeah. I'm a Cole Haan girl. I mean, so yeah. I mean, that's
and it just depends, you buy things and some things you might sit around for a while because they're seasonal. So you might get a pair of like really nice boots or something like that are going to just wait around till wintertime. Julie says, yes, that's something that I need to get better at. Watching you guys have helped me. Oh, thanks, Julie.
Yeah, there are certain brands that I like, and then certain brands that I buy for myself. And, I am not by any means fixated on, my things that I buy for myself being, as you've seen my videos, being new, as I'm jumping up and down going, please be my size. I wear a lot of thrifted pieces. I also find a lot of new pieces with tags when I'm out, which always surprises me. Especially when, you find like really high end things. I mean, I have literally pulled Birkenstocks out of the bins at CHKD, and they have barely been worn. And, I found Tory Burch, and I was going to keep a pair, but they were too big on my feet, but brand new. I mean, they were dropping off brand new shoes.
And another thing you have to look at too is like, people ask us, oh, you should have bought those. You should have bought those. Well, I mean, Sharon's looking at some of this stuff and it's just like, cheap Amazon clothes or cheap, you can't make any money on that. I get it that it's cheap and people want, people have, there's different, levels of pricing that people can pay things for. Some people make more money, some people make less money. So, they have to buy cheaper clothing. But in our perspective, it would be better to buy something more quality used than something not very good quality at a cheaper price.
That's exactly what I do for myself. Is
so from our perspective,
I try to buy things that are quality. Even if they're used, I try to buy the quality over the,
Even like a
yeah.
brand new piece that you know, people are like, well, you should have taken that, and it's like a brand new piece, but it doesn't sell for anything. You know, if it there's no sense in paying $8 for something that sells for $15 on Amazon, and then we
Yeah.
have the free shipping model, so we don't make no money on that. There's it's a waste of our time.
And then if you notice too, is another one of my bad habits is, I pick up things that are nostalgic for me, and sometimes they may be nostalgic with not a lot of value, but I can't help myself. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I love this, and if I loved it, maybe somebody else will love it, and there are those type of pieces I pick up too. I'm not strictly out there just shopping to make a buck. I'm not. I'm also out there finding things that I want to save, and I want them to go to someone else, and those type of things. I never know. I never know for sure, when I go somewhere, like what I'm going to look for. Clothes was never my thing. I've been doing it. I've been buying more clothes recently, and the reasoning is because in this area, they just have been giving me, I mean, it's like a prize day. I've just been finding incredible brands that, a lot of these men and women are donating in this area. I'm floored sometimes by, the brands of things that I'm picking up. So, I can't, it's just, I'm fortunate. It's very nice to be able to find those type of things. I know a lot of you have told me over and over that your Goodwills and your thrift stores are not like the ones here.
And another thing is like too, with you guys, we've made it over what 70 almost 7,200 subscribers now.
I still can't believe that.
And a lot of you guys are probably, you know, somewhat close to our age range, so you like and appreciate the same things that we like, because that's just kind of what you grew up with or whatever. I'm not saying everybody, but I mean, I was trying to look up the statistics, but the thing wasn't working on there. But I'm thinking like 80% of our audience is probably our age or older. So and when you guys do buy a lot of stuff from Sharon, you
Yeah.
know what you're getting, and if you've already got it, you've already got something quality. Julie says, how do you stay up to date on styles and stuff? Do you watch videos? I just tuned in, so I might have missed some answers.
I do watch a lot of, I do watch other resellers, for trends. I think more so I'm looking at trends, like when I picked up all those Laura Ashley and dresses, all in my mind, all I kept thinking was cottage core, cottage core, cottage core. I have definitely been looking more towards a lot of the Y2K, the 90s stuff, and the 2000 stuff. Especially when it comes to like the Guess and the Ed Hardy and the True Religion. I've been picking up a lot of those pieces lately too, just because they've become popular again. I mean, just the amount that you can get for some of these pieces that are 25 years old.
But their quality, that's
They've been around. Yeah,
they've been
they've
around.
held
So, I
up
mean,
for 25
yeah.
years.
So 25 years later, you're buying something that's used 25 years old, and it's still in good condition, and it's still good quality.
And I've been on my leather kick too. Like, I don't know why, but I have just been buying leather jackets and leather and leather and leather, like it's going out of style, even though it's getting warmer, because people keep donating such really nice lambs, just really nice leather pieces. I definitely just, there's just, I keep finding these really nice quality pieces, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to take that home. And
Jerry said she just opened up her Michael Kors and Kate Spade purses that she bought from us.
Yeah, nice.
While we were talking, and she said they're beautiful. Thank you so much. Fantastic.
The Kate Spade purse you got was, and it was actually one of their older styles, but it's one of their styles that's becoming very popular again. And the condition of that purse was just and the size and the scale of it, it just, there's there's a difference between the Kate Spade outlet pieces and the Kate Spade store pieces. And usually the tag on the inside is a giveaway. And yeah, I would definitely say the Kate Spade purse you got was from the store. It was not from an outlet.
Pam says, how do you store your items till they sell? Go back and look at our other videos. You'll see some of our storage unit
the
videos.
storage unit.
Or go over to the Short Girl Flipper channel, and which is in the description of any of Sharon's videos. You can find it in the links in below. And then you'll see she walks you through in some of those videos of our storage unit where we keep stuff. We also keep stuff here at the house, depending on what it is. We have some shelving units over here that we keep some stuff on. And then Sharon has a closet in the other room where she does her listing that she keeps some of the bigger jackets and things like that.
Oh, and Jerry, did you get your little frog? Jerry also got a little frog. She's got some purses, but she also got a little frog. And I tucked him in the middle there. So
Karen says it's amazing how do you say that? AIGNER, which we wore in high school or in again.
Yeah, Etienne Anier.
There you go.
I finally can say it right because I wasn't always saying it right. That and my Lululemon, which Lululemon. Yeah, I'm very phonetic when I see things, so sometimes I'm like, But yeah, that's become very, very popular. If you find some of the Etienne Anier, the basket purses from like the 80s and 90s, those sell really well. So yeah, it just depends.
Julie Boz says, I just bought a members only jacket today. Yep.
I actually saw a members only leather jacket the other day and I was going to pick it up. And then I looked at the value and the leather ones just don't do very well. But I actually saw a members only leather jacket.
But that doesn't mean that there's not some out there that do well. You just got to.
I looked that one up.
Look them up,
Yeah, I did. I looked
crazy.
I just, like I said, I've been buying up leather. People have been donating it after the season, and I've just been picking up a lot of leather lately.
So yeah, we got about 10 or 12 more minutes here. We're gonna cut this off at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
getting a little warm up here. We don't have our air conditioner on up here because
it would be loud.
Noisy.
So I mean, I hope everybody's out there hunting and finding some good treasures. It's definitely the right time of the year. I hawk marketplace and estate sales, and there's going to be some more church sales coming up, and the videos will get better, and hopefully we can start kind of toning back the Goodwill videos. They'll pop up here and there just because that's what's here. I'm not going to stop going to Goodwill, but I am definitely. Carl's already told me this next week. I don't think I'm going to do a lot of shopping this week. I'm going to do a lot of listing because my listing room is pretty full with inventory because we just keep buying more. And trust me, mine is not bad by any means. I mean, I've seen other resellers. I go, mine's not bad by any means, but I want to get everything that I've picked up listed and over to the storage unit.
I think the reason our Goodwill videos do okay. Well, nobody likes the loud music, and we don't either. And there's nothing that we can do about it. So
they're so nice in there too that I won't complain. It is what it is. We're just
gonna have music in there. Yeah. And if we do overdubs and we blank out all the music and we just voice over, people complain about that. So there's just no winning. So we're just gonna let the music play as long as it doesn't get some sort of a copyright hit. I always upload it, and if it doesn't give us a copyright hit, then I just leave it alone. But sometimes it'll give us a copyright hit and we'll have to cut that section out. That's why I've been doing now. Recently, I've been doing a lot of the pop-ups at the end during the recap so that we don't miss anything, because sometimes I'll go through and I'll do a bunch of pop-ups and of the things that she finds, but there ends up being copyright over that section and it cuts it out and you don't see it anyways.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like if you think something was like, wait a minute, it wasn't like a smooth transition, usually that's an indicator that there was music and he had to cut a portion. Yeah, so I try to do all the pop-ups at the end now so you guys can see what she got and what she paid for it. That's just going to be how it is from here on out. It's just easier that way. Yeah, some people like the music, some people don't. Like I said, we just can't please everybody, and we certainly don't try to. So Carl edits a video, and he's like,
"You get what you get, and you get what you get and don't throw a fit.
And the funny thing is he can do the video and run it through copyright, and it says everything's good. And then he finishes the video and he puts it back up, and then they find another.
Then it'll flag us for copyright
Then it flags the copyright, and he's got to start all over again.
That's why I put everything.
There's
at
a
the
lot
end.
that goes into editing these videos, and I can tell you, if you've ever seen a video that I did, they're not easy to do. There is a lot that goes into them.
Yeah. So like I said, you're going to see stuff now pretty much from here on out. Everything will be at the end during the recap is where it's going to be. So because if it does flag for more copyright stuff, it's just going to cut it out and you're not going to see it during the video anyway. So at least that way you can see what she got and you're like, oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see you pick that up. But sometimes too, when she's there, sometimes the camera will die on her or there's all kinds of reasons why you may or may not see something. Yeah. So Linda, it's Linda Clancy. She said, I just stopped in to say hi. Started following you at Short Girl Picker. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
So Otis is here. He came up to visit.
I heard Mr. Otis wander in. He's probably getting tired and thinking, what the heck?
Yeah.
We drug him out today. He's been to the storage unit a few times because we had a bunch of shipping to do. So Carl went with me, and Otis got to go visit the storage unit.
Otis is not a bye-bye dog. He does not like. He can only be in the car for short little instances, probably 30 minutes or less. He just doesn't like it. It's just too much for him. So, but when we take him over to the storage unit, he don't care. He just flops down on the cold concrete floor and just passes out. So it works out good for him. He gets to go and gets to be with us, and he still gets to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So yeah, definitely. I love to read your comments and things like that. And now I realize that sometimes I'm talking to people and they're in other countries, and it's really neat to see different perspectives of thrift stores and charity shops and all that. And I love to hear about your finds. So please message me and say, hey, look what I found. It's fun.
So Sharon's we're at 7,245 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
That is so cool. I remember where were we in West Virginia? Where did we go to that Airbnb? Was that West Virginia? Anyways, that was like a year ago. And we were there for, I think in February or something like that. And we were at like 999 subscribers, and we were just waiting that weekend to get our 1,000 person, and now we're like 7,245, which I know that's not a lot compared to some of these people, but I mean, you got to start somewhere. And then
you got to start somewhere.
And we appreciate you guys going to the Flipper channel. If you like the videos where she does the shipping and stuff like that and shows you what we paid for stuff and how much it shipped for and how much we made on it. That's doing good too. We got 723 subscribers on that one. Working our way towards, more subscribers on that
it's
one.
More of a realistic thing, for people to really see the breakdown of the money, how much did I make or how much didn't I make or, or what's selling or what you notice the patterns of, what size box and you can get it in and how to save money with your shipping and
our Downsize and Simplify channel.
Yeah.
Most of you guys have jumped on that. That's cool. Thanks. We got like 102 subscribers on there. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We always are good with feedback, positive feedback. Let us know.
Yeah.
All right. Karen says she has to go. Wanted to say thanks for the videos. Happy Mother's Day, Sharon.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, we got a video coming out tomorrow. So on Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
Make sure you guys are.
I am a geek. Yes.
Make sure you guys check that one out. It'll be out tomorrow morning, I think at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard. I might release it early depending on what time I get up. So, and then there's a Short Girl Flipper video out right now that came out today. So if you want to go see some of the things that recently sold and shipped, you can go check that out. So Jerry said, don't ever compare yourselves to any other channel because you both are amazing. Numbers do not always matter. It's about the friendliness, content, and knowledge to me. Perfectly understandable.
Yeah, but Jerry is the nicest person ever. I mean, honestly.
Jerry and Donna, but Donna didn't see Donna down.
Yeah,
she she might be doing something.
Yeah, Jerry is nothing but a ray of sunshine and positive reinforcement, and she's always cheering me on, and this is someone I've never met before, and it's really good.
And she buys from you a lot.
Right,
You really
but
appreciate it.
when you hit a certain age and you're doing something that wouldn't have always been in your comfort zone, because trust me, this was not in my comfort zone when I started, and to have people that actually want to see this and come and talk to you, it's unexpected, and I'm grateful to be in a position where I get to try something different. It's
Yep. Julie says she's learning a lot on your channel. Thanks for sharing.
And if you ever get, have a question about something, or you want to purchase something and you're just not sure about it, or you don't know, just, you can always send me an email or something like that. I do check my emails if you kind of, if you're unsure of something, or, this and that. I do a lot of research. I spend a lot of time on eBay researching items, even when I'm selling them. There's a lot that goes into it.
Pam wants to know, how do you clean Pyrex?
Oh, there is a trick, and please do not quote me on this. If it, I have done this many times. So after, because you don't want to take the color off of your Pyrex, especially if it's a colored piece. But if it has like marks where it's like rubbed up against things, or metal marks and this and that, test it on an area. But I've always used Brasso, and I know that sounds odd, but you put the Brasso on there and just, gently rub with like a paper towel or a washcloth or something. And the Brasso will take off all the metal marks, the utensil marks, the rub marks. I've never had it take a piece where it's lost color. I've always done it very carefully, but Brasso is a really great product to remove marks from Pyrex.
Janice says, hi, Sharon and Carl. I watch your channel every day that you are on. It makes me a bit homesick because I used to live just down the road. Happy Mother's Day. Oh, thanks, Janice. Where did you live? When you say just down the road, that could be anywhere around here.
Yeah, we have a lot of long roads around here. A lot of 2-lane roads.
Just down the road in the south means 2 states over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So we got a few more minutes, and then we're going to sign off.
Yeah, so if you try the Brasso, just use it sparingly, and to get off marks and this and that. It will your color should stay just fine. You don't want to rub so hard to where you're rubbing the coating off, but I've used Brasso, and then just rinse it with water, and it dries it up. There's even a thing now too that for people that sell Pyrex, I have seen this. I have sold very, very collectible Pyrex before, where the patterns have worn off or they're not in great shape anymore, but the piece is very hard to find. And what I have found, there is a lot of people now that will buy Pyrex just to get that piece, even if the graphic isn't great on it anymore or has worn down, because there are people that are refinishing the Pyrex pieces. They're not refinishing them to use them. They're refinishing them for display. And I know now they make stencil kits and things like that, where you can put stencil kits or put detailing back into your Pyrex. And that's obviously not to use it, because Pyrex is never supposed to go in a dishwasher. You are never supposed to put Pyrex in a dishwasher. That's what causes all the fading and the damage to the Pyrex. So I've sold a lot of pieces that I thought, this piece isn't very good. And usually they sell very quickly, because I know that they're being upcycled. These men and women are upcycling the pieces, so that they can use them for their displays.
Sarah says, Barkeeper's Friend for Pyrex too.
Yeah.
Janice says she used to live in Bottoms Bridge. Yep.
Okay.
Outside of Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
We've been past there.
Sure have.
Janice lives in Charles City. Oh, yep.
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 That's near us. Now, Charles City is
Or no,
us.
I'm sorry. Julie says she lives in Charles City.
Oh, okay.
Yes. We've seen Julie. Yeah, we know she's around here.
Yeah.
We've seen her comment before.
Yeah, Barkeeper's Friend and Brasso. They're actually very similar products. Barkeeper's Friend is a really great product. You can actually order it off of Amazon, and I do believe Home Depot sells Barkeeper's product as well. So those are both. I know you wouldn't think that those, but those are products that people use to clean Pyrex.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this time. We really appreciate you guys for dialing in and listening to us blabber for an hour on a Saturday. So again, we really appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel and commenting and keeping telling Sharon all the nice things that you tell her. So we really appreciate that. You guys have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day.
We will catch you later.
Bye.